Good morning. Morning report time. All right. In the news, Neil Gorsuch sworn in as the Supreme Court Justice, restoring the Supreme Court to its full 9 members. And Gorsuch becomes the 113th Associate Justice on the Supreme Court, and then turns the court back to a conservative tilt. Not guaranteed every decision will be conservative in the end. Every time you have a swing vote, you always have those up in the air things. You're never quite sure, but it gives conservatives hope that the court will be more conservative and return back to what it was when Judge Scalia was on the bench, and ends all those 4-4 ties that gave Obama basically backhanded victories. United Airlines, big public relations mess disaster with their dragging a passenger off a plane. This was not an unruly passenger or one of these air marshal type of things and stuff like that. This was a passenger who was being involuntarily bumped so that United could get their flight crew to Louisville, Kentucky, and they just didn't get enough people to voluntarily get bumped, and the computer selected this particular individual based on a number of criteria, which could include check-in time, frequent flyer status, what the price of the ticket he paid, etc. But even though United Airlines was well within its rights to do what it did, because that is the contract of carriage, I guess, that everybody accepts, that they'll be overbooking and you can get involuntarily bumped if they don't get enough volunteers and things like that. They should have offered more money, I think, in the long run. I fly fairly frequently over time, and so I've seen this happen in the sense of people will get involuntarily bumped, but that's the price you pay for flying. This happens. The airlines need to fly at capacity, so they try to make sure that they have enough that they're flying that way, and that they make it for no-shows, which are pretty common because of flight changes, missed flights, all kinds of things, that happen. But that, for their unwillingness to pay more money, offer more money to get more people to get off the plane, they're going to wind up paying a lot more. They're already suffering public relations-wise, and there's no doubt that there's going to be some substantial compensation due this passenger for the way he was treated. There's pictures of him being bloodied and everything like that. This is an era of smartphones, of live streaming and everything like that. Whoever you are at United Airlines at the gate and those that made the decision that you were going to drag this person off the plane, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Really, really, this is a big-time PR gaffe mess, and you blew it. And for relatively little cost, you could have avoided this. Tragedy again in San Bernardino, California, shooting at a school, not by students, but this time by the estranged husband of one of the teachers, special needs teachers. The husband shot and killed his wife, shot and killed himself, but in the process also shot some students. We had 2 students that were taken to hospitals, one of whom who died from the injuries. Very tragic situation, and brings the spotlight back to San Bernardino. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of calls about guns in schools and some things like that, which really is a different subject altogether than what actually happened yesterday, and what other things that may need to be done to prevent things like this. But we live in a world where things are dangerous. We cannot prevent everything from happening. We can take lots of precautions, but there are no guarantees we can prevent everything from happening, and people have got to realize that. Governor Bentley in Alabama resigned. He's the 3rd governor, recent Alabama history, maybe total Alabama history, to resign. So that's not a great track record for Alabama governors and their ability to stay in office when you think about that. But he was caught up with... He's pleaded guilty to a couple of misdemeanors, going to give up the money in his campaign account and everything like that. But he's done as a politician now as a result of his actions there. The abuse of power. The Republicans, even though he's a Republican, the Republican legislature was going to vote to impeach him. because of this, and the fact that he had been denying that he'd been involved in an affair with a former aide who was married. But that apparently is very true, because there are messages that are out there floating around. And one of the stories I saw said that the messages even wound up being synced to Bentley's ex-wife's iPad. Yeah, you got to think about where those messages are going, and you might want to cut off some of that family sharing and things like that. Things that make life easy when you're together can also come back to bite you big time when you get divorced. So, if you've got electronic devices, take precautions with them before you give them up or before you split with your significant other, wife, whatever, because that could really run you into an uncomfortable situation. Russia and Syria, still in the news, will be in the news for a while, as there will be plenty of saber rattling between the countries about what retaliation, what will be done in the end. But Trump sent a very strong message. Even Democrats, as I said yesterday, are supporting him. And so anyway, we'll talk about this and more on tomorrow's Bias Buzz podcast. Join me one more time tomorrow for another morning report before we get to the podcast. And I hope that you're enjoying the podcast along the way as well and sharing that with others. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud. Give us a shout out. We appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Stay safe. Have a great day.